Are there any restrictions on importing endangered species into the USA? Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about importing endangered species into the United States. Endangered species are animals and plants that are at risk of extinction. There are a number of reasons why a species might be endangered, including habitat loss, poaching, and climate change. The United States has a number of laws and regulations in place to protect endangered species. These laws are designed to prevent the illegal trade of endangered species and to help to conserve their populations. Import restrictions. One of the most important laws that regulates the import of endangered species is the Endangered Species Act, ESA. The ESA prohibits the import of any species that is listed as endangered or threatened under the Act. There are a few exceptions to this rule. For example, it is possible to import an endangered species if you have a permit from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Permits are only granted for certain purposes, such as scientific research or educational purposes. It is also important to note that the ESA does not apply to all species. Some species, such as those that are not native to the United States, are not protected by the Act. How to get a permit? If you are interested in importing an endangered species, you will need to obtain a permit from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. The process for getting a permit can be complex, so it is important to do your research before you start. The first step is to determine if the species you are interested in is protected by the ESA. You can do this by checking the list of endangered and threatened species on the Fish and Wildlife Service website. If the species is protected, you will need to submit a permit application to the Fish and Wildlife Service. The application process can take several months, so it is important to start early. The Fish and Wildlife Service will review your application and decide whether to issue a permit. If you are granted a permit, you will be required to follow a number of conditions, such as providing documentation of the species' origin and ensuring that the species is properly cared for. Importing endangered species into the United States is a serious matter. There are a number of laws and regulations in place to protect these species, and it is important to understand these laws before you attempt to import an endangered species. If you are interested in importing an endangered species, I encourage you to do your research and to contact the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service for more information. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below.